From PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs
and WETA,
recording in front of a live Zoom audience, this is On Our Minds
with Ashley
and Tyler,
a podcast about the teenage experience made by teenagers for teenagers.
Because we all need a place to feel heard. Hey Ashley, and hey to everyone who's here with us for the On Our Minds Season 3 wrap-up party and recording.
God, this is so cool. With us right now, we actually have 5 staff members from Student Reporting Labs who have helped produce, edit, publish, and promote the podcast. It really does take a team. And also with us, more than a dozen students from across the country who have contributed to this season by producing audio stories or creating social media content. We're so excited to be together with you guys.
Hi.
A few shout-outs to previous hosts who were here with us. Noah and Zion from Season 1.
Hey, guys.
Sorry, hi.
And Matt and Faiza from Season 2.
Hello.
I love you!
I love you too.
This is the first gathering of its kind for On Our Minds, and it's especially important because, as a number of studies have shown, celebrations can increase feelings of social support and boost general well-being.
It's so interesting when studies show what we already know.
And now, we'd love to hear from all of you student contributors to On Our Minds. The floor is open for you to tell us about your experience producing an audio story or social media content. What did you learn or gain from this experience?
My name is Zion. I'm from Michigan, and the story I produced was Life After High School. So I learned that there's so many different tracks after high school that you could go on, like college isn't necessarily where you have to go if that's not what you want to do. So I feel like there's power in realizing that you can do whatever you set your mind to, and that you need to follow your dreams and follow what your heart is telling you to do. So if college isn't necessarily that, I feel like we shouldn't feel pressured to go to college.
Hi, I'm Noah. I was co-host for Season 1 of Our Minds along with Zion. And I also helped produce some social media posts this season. But overall, On Our Minds was, the most amazing experience ever. It was so much fun. I got to meet so many great people, and I learned a lot about myself in the process.
Hi, I'm Mahi. I'm from California, and I worked on the episode for Season 3 with Jordan Childs. I think I learned a lot just from her perspective of struggling mentally with sports. I feel like people expect athletes to just be mentally tough and stick through things. And I think it was so amazing just kind of hearing her be so vulnerable about her story and her struggles with mental health.
Hi, I'm Roha. I'm from Maryland, and I was involved with the Nature and Wellbeing episode. Something that I learned while producing this episode was just about nature, and I think it's super underrated. And by talking to my friend Caroline, I was able to learn more about how people experience nature in completely different ways and how it can really help you, even though it seems like it's so far away. It's really so close. And just how mental health can just be so different depending on your surroundings. And it was quite an adventure.
My name is Natalie, and this is
I'm
Nadia, and
I'm
Cheyenne. We're all from Washington State, and we worked on the episode How to Not Lose Yourself in a Relationship for Season 3. And so something that I learned from that was just seeing the amount of responses we got, the kind of collective perspective that Gen Z has, that I feel like we're a lot more open about our mental health than previous generations. And I think that's a really healthy, important thing. I mean, a lot of these students had really similar experiences. And I'm like, if we talk about this stuff more, it makes us all feel a little less alone, right? Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. Ashley and I met a few weeks ago and recorded some reflections about hosting the podcast.
I feel like I can't emphasize enough how much I feel like On Our Minds has really changed my life this year. I really think it has. Not just my life, but also I feel like my own viewpoints and my own, impression of how I thought junior year was going to go.
I also kind of feel like I became a little bit more confident and more less apprehensive about talking about myself and the things that I was doing because of On Our Minds.
After our session at South by Southwest EDU, and I genuinely feel like this was actually a very quintessential experience in my life. This woman came up to me and she was Asian, right? She told me, she was like, I actually came in here and I was actually just going to stay for like maybe 20 minutes because I actually had a session that I kind of wanted to go to at the same time. So I was just going to pop in, see what was happening, and then like leave. But then she was like, I saw you on the stage and I saw how well you were doing. And it just filled me with so much pride that I knew I had to stay. And she was like, as Asian women, like we're kind of taught from our families, from like socialization, to not be comfortable talking about not just mental health, but also to not feel comfortable taking like positions of leadership and being the person who speaks up and being someone who is a representative of not just our community, but of a larger community. It was so amazing because it was something where I was like, obviously I was proud of myself for being able to like get to South by Southwest EDU and for doing Honor Minds, but to hear someone else, like a complete stranger, come up to me and be like, I don't even know you, but I'm so proud of you. I really think about that moment a lot.
Wow. That's that's like really good. I was so proud of you. You just had an amazing presence and it was just amazing to see you like up there, and I felt like you did really, really good with that.
Oh, thank you. I feel like for you, I think it's been so cool seeing you like grow throughout this year, because I think that from our first interview where you're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And I was like, me too, me too. But I feel like I've really gotten to see you like grow into like your confidence and really become someone who's even more well spoken than you were at the beginning, because you were already very, very well spoken and very mature.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I love that you do bring up your heritage and where you come from and your experiences, because that shapes so much of how we view certain things or whatever. And I love, because I always get to learn something new when you talk about it.
I think another thing is like, there's something that you brought up at the beginning of the year when you were talking about why you wanted to join Honor Minds and about how you felt like for a lot of guys it's difficult to talk about mental health. A lot of our like male listeners might, listen to you and say like, well, like if Tyler can do it, like maybe I can too, you know?
It is honestly like I've like had a lot of people talk to me that are like older than me or whatever, that are like, wow, like when I was growing up, we never, like, this wasn't even a conversation. We didn't even talk about mental health. Mental health wasn't even something that was even ever brought up. And so the fact that, we're even able to have this opportunity to be able to talk about it at such a young age, and so many people our age are learning about these things and discovering these things, is like, it's important.
I was actually talking to Faiza about how sad I was that we only had to film like the goodbye episode left. And she was like, it's such a central part of your life for like 6 months. And it's like, that's so true. When I think back on it, right? Like, I'm sure that I'm not the same person as I was when I started this podcast. And so looking back, like, I can't wait for, in like 5 years, to come back to this podcast and listen to like essentially this time capsule of who I was at this point in time. And I hope that in the future, when I look back, I can say, wow, I'm really proud of how I was at that moment. Or wow, I've really grown since then.
I've had the best experience.
Now we want to tell you what's coming up for Honor Minds next year, which will be the 4th season of the podcast.
Yes, just like last year, Student Reporting Labs will be looking for 2 new student hosts. The host application will open in August with a September 15th deadline. Look out for that by following Student Reporting Labs on social media.
And one super cool thing next year is that the hosts will get to meet in person during an all-expense paid weekend in the fall for a training at NPR member station KUOW in Seattle.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so jealous.
So jealous. That's so cool. Another new thing is that we will be collecting voicemail-style submissions called Dear On Our Minds. Anyone can record them by asking a question you'd like answered in the podcast, or you could tell a quick story that relates to your mental wellness.
You can also share tips or resources that have been helpful to you and might help other teens, or reflect on how a recent On Our Minds episode affected you. So look out for that Dear On Our Minds submission form.
We will also have another theme music contest. That deadline will be in October.
And of course, we will also be looking for students who want to produce segments for the podcast. These could be personal stories, interviews, or conversations, or news packages that investigate a topic. The best way to learn more about all of these opportunities is through Student Reporting Lab's website, StoryMaker, which is at story-maker.org.
We also are able to reveal the next season's episode themes. Drum roll, please. Music and culture, masculinity, definitions of success,
plus gun violence, laws affecting teens, and international stories.
And if you have a story idea on another topic, you can pitch that too. Well, we just want to thank you guys so much for all your hard work on Our Minds with us. The podcast is a big collaboration among Student Reporting Lab staff and a number of teachers who help support and provide guidance, and most importantly, teenagers like all of you guys.
Okay, Tyler, are you ready for our last time reading the credits?
Oh my gosh. I'm probably more emotional about this than I am for graduating high school.
The script says I'm ready, but I don't think either of us are.
I mean, I have to be ready. Take it away.
This episode was produced by lead podcast producer Briget Ganske, associate producer Jaylah Ross, and StoryMaker community manager Emily Hope Dobkin.
Many thanks to editorial director Marie Cusick and executive producer Leah Clapman.
Theme music by Jackson Teedens.
On Our Minds is supported by the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations.
If you or someone you know needs help, we have a list of resources at studentreportinglabs.org/mental health resources.
You guys did it!
Oh
You guys did it! Awesome job, everyone!
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amazing job, everyone.
And now for some fun bloopers. We are gathered here today. Oh, it's like a wedding.
I'm actually gonna have us first let out a lion's breath. Let it go.
If you or someone you know needs help, we have a list of resources at Student Reporting Lab storage access. Hello? Tyler and I have talked about this like extensively throughout the episodes. We have these like go-to phrases that we just come back to all the time. Wow, that's so interesting for Tyler.
You have such a way for words.
And then for me, it's like, yeah, sick. And I'm just like, oh, I need to do better. When I'm feeling sad, I like to make myself feel worse, so I can flush it out of my system, like a juice cleanse. Like, I was gonna say colonoscopy, but I don't think that's appropriate.